Awesome. This is Darren with Leaders in Business Podcast, where CEOs and executives in the digital marketing and social media space share their best advice. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because leaders know what they are talking about. So let's get to it. So in a few sentences, Troy, tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. I'm Troy Hipolito. I own Return Client and a few other companies, and I developed this return client system out of a need. So hopefully it's helpful for others.
Awesome. And what's the best thing about leading your business?
Oh, well, I get to help people, and by helping them, I help myself. So,
Absolutely. And I hear from other business leaders, especially in today's COVID climate, that can be challenged to grow their businesses. What are some of the biggest challenges you see leaders facing today?
well, they have a hard time actually communicating well and building relationships with other, with their prospects and other companies they want to work with. And we kind of smooth that process out by building a personal brand so they get to know, like, and trust. If people don't really know that individual and they don't believe that individual, it's really hard to kind of build a relationship just on sending out a message or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that. So following that riff and that train of thought, what is the best advice that you can give to other business leaders about creating a successful business?
Oh, yeah. Be authentic, be consistent, and be helpful.
Mm,
Those are the three main rules that you really want to adhere to in order to generate business.
mm,
There's a lot of things happening. I concentrate on the LinkedIn market, for example. And so since we're all remote, I've been remote for a while, but since we're all remote now, it's a little harder to trust individuals and they're not right in front of them. And
mm.
you build trust over time. It's like dating for social networks, or dating for business, I would say that. You don't take a plunge and you don't try to sell. You just try to provide value.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe what's like a golden nugget that you could share with our audience about building value and building that trust? What have you seen that's been working for yourself?
Yeah, I use an approach called omnipresence. It's a kind of a general term that means be at multiple places at the same time. And so, Return Client as a company, what we do for clients is we actually do a lot of personal branding. It includes videos, recordings, them providing value, other kind of post, image post, information post. We actually write up the post and then we submit it on a regular basis on their news thread. And so people get to see them, get to hear them, get to feel the value of what they're providing. And then we actually incorporate some of those very high-end posts, the ones that are very active within the messaging. And we specialize in targeting and how to say things. We have certain formulas with the social writers. And the tone has to match the actual client because it's a very personal relationship. So when we send out a connection request, we keep it really simple. But on the welcome, for example, we have a welcome video, and we say, hey, people want to see your face. They want to know who you are. They want to hear a little bit about you. And of course, if it's a welcome message, the main point is really thanking them for being part of that network. Later on, you may have additional things that you want to post, you want to roll in video, or maybe an active post within that message. So that thought process of providing value, keeping things really, really short, allowing the potential prospects to come to you. Another thing is what I do is I provide help. So if someone's having a problem on LinkedIn, I'm open for a 15-minute conversation. And I'll tell them exactly what I do as a business because I know what I do, I can do better than they can. So it's about time versus money. They have all the time in the world. They can definitely spend 7 or 8 hours a day on LinkedIn and do all this fantastic stuff. Or they can hire someone like us that has a good group and specialized in kind of churning this around into a really positive feed.
I love that. I love that. Especially the part about, leveraging your time and the money and just working with experts and kind of getting out of that lone wolf syndrome. A lot of times, a lot of entrepreneurs and business leaders can really feel like they're taking all the pressure on their hands because maybe there is a trust issue with trusting other people. And, building that trust, providing the value. I wanted to ask one follow-up question about value. Can you give us an example maybe of a client or yourself where what does value mean to you and like how does that show up when you're sharing?
That's a good question. It's not what it means to me. It's what it means to my audience.
Mm,
So as a business, we're all in business to generate money and to help people provide, to provide a service. But on LinkedIn, you don't sell. You simply provide value. And so for my audience, value is how to do stuff on LinkedIn because I'm the LinkedIn expert.
mm,
So I post stuff on creating documents, on how to write proper messages, tips on how to do that, how many videos you should post, how to reply to messages, how to keep track of that. What do you do on a daily basis on your LinkedIn channels? How do you reduce time? And then how do you squeeze the best results out of the information you have, or how to maximize your account? I'll give you one example. Most people don't realize that one linked account, you can have easily 7 different campaigns going on. You can have a branding campaign that posts information, videos, and all this other stuff. You can have at least 3 different LinkedIn messaging campaigns, reaching out different targets at the same time. You can have rollover to warm email, which is much different than cold email, if done properly. I could tell you a lot of stuff, but it would probably take a long time how that would work together. So
yeah, that's great. Definitely a wealth of knowledge here. And so I'm just curious, what other successful business leaders like yourself would you like to acknowledge and should be on my podcast?
so there is was it New Orchard? New Orchard. His name is last name Goodsell. Very interesting client of mine. Doing very well. He actually provides a software or a service that allows consultants to help other businesses. So they analyze the business and they break down information. They even have a system where the company participates and they optimize different components. They have like 47 modalities. So Rusty Goodsell is his name.
Okay.
And I would actually, if any of those consultants want to keep their clients longer, I would reach out to Rusty.
Great. I'll check in with them. So now for the final fun question, who's the most interesting person to follow on social media and why?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't even have an answer for that because there's so many interesting people, and I don't try to stick on one for too long because sometimes the flavor becomes very similar, and you have to kind of jump around. Vanderchuck, for example, very active, does a lot of great, but his stuff is really motivational in general. And I have one off the top of my head, and I was just looking at her stuff today, but unfortunately it's past 4:00 and my brain is jello right now. I'll email it to you.
Yeah, we'll put it in
After 4:00, I shut down because I'm getting up like 5:30 in the morning. So.
Yeah, no worries. You're going full steam. Well, Troy, it was a pleasure having you on. How can people find you?
Yeah, they can go ahead and look me up on LinkedIn. My first name and last name, Troy, last name is Hipolito, Hipolito, or they can just go to returnclient.com and click on schedule for 15 minutes. And it'll show up on my calendar and we can have a direct chat. So that's return client, it's singular, don't add an S on it. Return client, CLIENT.com. So.
Perfect. That's a wrap. This is Darren with Leaders in Business Podcast. For more insights and ideas, go to our website, leadersinbusinesspodcast.com. Thank you, Troy.